we'll just get rolling. Thanks for coming. Many thanks to Emily. She actually put this together. With, we just modified. We worked on it this morning, so hopefully it all makes sense. We're going to overview all-day advising, go over some of the expectations, both you as faculty member and the students. We're going to review degree works and advising forms and how to interpret them. What we see as common issues, questions, and concerns in a general Q&A. For number 4, if you have anything that pops up a lot, let us know. We can get the whole group on a consensus for it. If you don't have forms, we have some forms outside. So as you know, the advising, it's going to be 9 to 4 on, it's an all hands on deck. It's going to be happening in the Coleman gym. If it's not in your syllabus and you're teaching the undergrads, again, we want to keep reinforcing this content to them. We know the history of why we're doing this. It's saving us from those 3 weeks of computer lab sessions that we used to do. You don't remember those days?
Oh, yeah.
When we do the computer labs? Those were fun, weren't they? Those are great times. And it's also going to be an opportunity that even if you're not directly advising a student with their registration, you can talk to them about your profession, our grad programs. We can tout our graduate programs, tout some of our other programs, and see if we can get students into them. So this is the basic layout of how it's going to happen. So this would be the entrance coming from 237 hallway. So they'll come in here, course selection form tables will be right, so they'll grab a course selection form, and then they'll have all the faculty, these will be all the registration advisors, and then we're going to have our special tables up on this, would be, I guess, this wall. Right here, this is where we put our graduate programs. Pete will be there, Ann will be there for internships, etc. We'll have probably Deanne or Donna there for coaching minor, etc. Is that what we're going to do? We're going to move them over there?
Potentially King Club as well.
Yeah, and potentially a King Club. So they will come over, do the registration, and then you can refer them. Hey, if you're interested in coaching minor, go see so-and-so. If you're interested in the internship, go see so-and-so. It doesn't, that way we don't have a log jam with registration, and then we have people in their specialties. We're going to have SEP here, we'll have MSAT here, any of our graduate programs, very similar to what we did in the fall. That make sense? Checkout will be right here with Emily. She'll be the one, and she'll probably have another faculty member helping with advising codes. I am located here. If you have a student that needs to see me, it has to say on their form, go see Aaron. If I don't see a referral from a faculty member to see me, I am not going to talk to them. I'm trying to avoid the students walking right in here and coming right to me. That's not my intent. I'm there as a troubleshooting, problem-solving type guru. All right. I'm trying to be known as the advising czar. That's what I'm going for.
Hell czar.
I like that. That's my new title. Any questions on the flow? If you do see people walking back out this way, just have them try to go out the exit. That way you can just kind of keep a one-way directional flow. Emily, if I'm missing anything, chime in. The dates, Wednesday. We will do 9 to 12. We will close the doors at 11:15. So that gives about 45 minutes to get whoever's still in the gym through. And we'll do the same thing at the evening where we're going to close the doors at 3:30. And whoever's in there, we will try to get them out in the next and be done by 4 o'clock. All right? We will have lunch as always, usually in this room. So feel free to come and eat your fill. If you guys haven't seen these are our new alpha codes. So that's the old PEAT program, and that's the pre-PEAT program. Kinesiology is K-I-N-E and P-K-I-N. Those are the new alpha codes. I got them right, didn't I? Yeah. So P will be taking care of this because Judy obviously has an FMLA. So she usually does pre-advising before March 27th for these students. However, if they have students who couldn't make that and they come to our all-day advising on the 27th, P will be available to help with them, and she will also then, if she doesn't have a student, help with the general kinesiology student body. So she's going to kind of be bouncing back and forth as needed. But if you see these alpha codes, that's PEAT and that's pre-PEAT.
So if nobody's at our table, we can, and we see a black log,
Yeah,
we can,
you can shift her over. And we have people helping with logistics and traffic flow, and they can turf them. So you're, as a faculty member, your expectations, just show up and be on time. We want to open the doors up at 9 a.m. You have seen this. There is a backlog. It'll be out the hall, up the stairs. So if we can be ready to roll right at 9 o'clock, so be in your chair by, 8:50, that just is going to get things to flow a lot easier. Don't plan on leaving early. The whole day is, just consider the day done. All right? Even if we have a lull at 3 o'clock, we don't want people, hey, can I leave? Can I leave? Because then everyone starts leaving before you know it. It's me, Emily, and Greg, and 10 students. So just plan on your day is shot.
Unless you teach a class.
Unless you teach a class. But have your class in all-day advising. That will help. We'll put the tables out. We'll be fine.
They can come and help.
Grad classes.
Grad classes. There are some grad classes going on. And labs. I know labs, but most of those are being taught by GAs and TAs. But if you have a laboratory session, so that one section doesn't fall behind, we understand that. Everyone is going to be helping. So if you're teaching one of our graduate programs, you can also promote the program, tell them about it. Push for your electives, 466, 468, 595. These are electives that we've been pushing for the last few semesters. So we want to get these students into it. If you have questions about these courses, we will be providing you course descriptions. Undergrad advising, obviously, this is the bulk of it, is helping with the registration, etc. You can help with distributing advising codes and obviously logistics, just making sure everyone knows where to go in case a student looks lost. Jenny does a great job with that. She kind of herds them like cats and gets them where they need to go. Take your time and work with each student. Some students will be ready to roll, good, that's fine. Other students may have some questions, that's fine also. This one, we have an idea of how we can kind of help that also. Feel free to reach out to your advisees beforehand. We used to say don't have to meet with the student, but after seeing how this has been working, if a student emails you requesting to meet with you, hey, I want to meet with you, and they only want to meet with you because they want to do course selection, don't schedule that meeting. Come to all-day advising. But if they want to meet with you for big issues, you have a relationship with them, they want to talk about career choices, etc., meet with them, that's fine. Set up a meeting. The idea of the all-day advising is we don't want them meeting individually, taking up your time, say, hey, can you develop my schedule, can you look at my courses? But if you have a relationship with these students, we don't want to say you can't talk to them for 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after. That's just not what we're about. But that sort of makes sense, the difference between them. So if they're just saying, hey, put together my schedule, no, come to all-day advising. But if they want to talk about big issues that are going to take up a chunk of time, you can meet with them in your office. There's nothing wrong with that. Make sense? After all-day advising, Emily gets to email the codes out on April 18th. Okay? So if they miss all-day advising and they have not completed the absentee form, they will get their codes on 4/18. If they email you, can you release my code? No. That's it. You needed to come to all-day advising. You needed to complete the absentee form. You didn't. You have to wait till 4/18. For some of our seniors, that might be a rude wake-up call. Ellen.
But I was in the hospital.
You better have documentation for that.
I'm just saying, you have to be a little bit, find out why.
Right, absolutely. We always do. When Emily gets these emails, she's also going to, well, actually, you can explain what you're going to do after you do it.
When students email me saying, hey, I missed all day advising, I'm fine with waiting on my code, but what classes do I take? I'm going to look up their ID number, I'm going to find out who their advisor is on DegreeWorks, and I'm forwarding it to the advisor, whoever's listed. I'm not even responding to the students because it's time consuming for me just dealing with the stuff after all day advising to then try and say, oh, well, you only have 4 classes left, it should be obvious what you need to take. I'm not even doing that anymore. Just forwarding it on.
And typically what's happened is that they then defaulted to me, so I've been doing independent or individual advising for everyone who missed all-day advising, and that's just a huge burden on me in the middle of April. So you all have assigned advisees. They'll be reaching out. If they may not. They may just want their code and be on their own. But if they reach out, they're going to be reaching out to their advisees saying, can you look at my schedule, etc. So that's going to be the most fair. It takes a lot off my plate that I don't have to be dealing with these individual meetings. Questions so far on the logistics and what you're going to be doing as a faculty member? From the student perspective, They need to have the form filled out completely with their courses, CRNs, etc. We're going to show you what a sample form looks like in a minute. They need to bring a hard copy of DegreeWorks because we will keep it. If they say it's on my laptop, no, go to the Super Lab and print out a hard copy. They should come prepared with questions. If you feel a student is not prepared for any of these, send them back. Send them away. Say, if it's in the morning, say, you know what, I want a hard copy of DegreeWorks, you need to fill out this form, come back in the afternoon session. It's typically a little bit lighter in the afternoon, but send them away. You have that power. You're not an advising czar, but you have that much power. Students are going to be given multiple chances to receive their advising code, and the absentee form is open all the way till March 27th. So they have all the way till that day to complete an absentee form of why they're not there. And part of that form is they have to have documentation, correct? They have to upload documentation with that form. And we've had students literally send us, it's a little morbid, but they've actually sent us the placards from obituaries and funeral services, etc. Most of them, though, they're sick. If they're sick enough to miss all day advising, they need to be sick enough to go to the health center and get a statement that they went. If they have the sniffles, they need to be here. And then we already talked about they will receive their codes on April 18th. Courses are closed, caps are set, and the wait lists are going to be on. Questions? Feel free to, if you don't feel a student is set, send them away. So, here's how you guys can interpret DegreeWorks. First things first, that's your cumulative GPA. Located down there. Now this is going from the top down on DegreeWorks. This is our advisors. If it says Jennifer Clark, she is the default advisor for the HHS Advising Center. So assume that's HHS, and then obviously a faculty member. Their major may be kinesiology, or maybe pre-kinesiology, it may be pre-physical education, or maybe physical education. If it's anything other than those four, that's probably someone you want to refer to me, because they may be coming into the major right now, and I probably don't know what if and do a whole bunch of fun stuff. See if they're in academic good standing. Some of them, especially if they're having trouble registering for courses, they may have a hold on their account because they didn't pay. They may not be in satisfactory academic progress, so check that. And also class history, if you just want to see what they took broken down by semester, this little link right here puts it all down. It's almost like a sort of a stripped down transcript, if you will. So that's your class history, and it opens up in a new window.
Obviously, if you have the digital version, you can't do that on the hard.
Right, you can't. And then obviously this is just all their basic demographics. As you move down
So,
DegreeWorks,
Aaron, a
yep.
question on the academic good standing.
Yep.
Do you just want us to ask if it says no or whatever?
This is more of if they say they keep having trouble registering, etc. Check this little area. We have a lot of students say, I can't register for classes, and then you check it, we have a hold on your account. And you say, why do you have a hold on your account? You need to talk to registrar's office or the cashier's office. Chances are they missed a payment if they have a hold on their account.
What if they're on probation or something?
That will happen. That will be probation here. It'll say academic probation. What's after probation?
Suspension.
Suspension. Yeah, and then
And
dismissal.
they have to be out for a certain period.
Yeah. So moving down, this is their first window they see. This is what they need by the university standards. Again, their cumulative GPA is located here. Semester hours applied. This is a really important number. Okay? This semester hours takes into account the credits that they have earned. So they have a grade in it. It also takes into account credits they are currently registered for and courses they are currently in. And I'll show you an example. So you can see this student right here, this is the next big column, 300 level plus. They need 36 hours. It tells you what they need. So they only have 3 hours, they need 33 more hours at the 300 plus level. Keep that in mind. And because it's applied, this number includes courses that they are currently taking and currently registered for. That makes sense. Anything applied. This is total hours. We are still under 122 because it's the catalog they came in, so all of our students will still be under 122. They are not at 120 yet. And then they have the subheadings of your general education requirements and our kinesiology major requirements. But this is the top part of your degree works. Questions? The applied number is the big one. So if you look at the general education page, there's a lot going on here. Big things to know here, if it begins with G, this is called the category. Everything else is called a marker. So if you hear the term categories, think G. If you think markers, we're talking our globals and our writings and our speakings. If you want to get really down into the weeds of general education, come see me afterwards. And I'll talk Gen Ed for a long time, but this is basically how Gen Ed works. Again, you have applied hours, you have your own general education GPA, and how many hours are required. So these headers tell you exactly what it is. So they actually have 3 separate GPAs for the courses underneath each header. You want to break it down that way. Alan?
Is there any way to make that a little bit bigger for us people who can't see that?
No, but your chair has wheels, so you can probably wheel to the front. That says 2.16.
So with that student, 36 required, 40 applied, so they're actually, if they finish
Yep.
what they're taking, which is in the applied, then they'll be above what they need.
Yes. And if it says it has a green check, that means that they've completed with a grade. If it has a little tilde, that means it's in progress. The R means currently registered for it. That's what the R stands for. And obviously, if it's an open box, they either haven't completed it because they need one more class. Interesting here, this is telling you they need one class. So it actually tells you exactly how you can advise them. You need to take one more class with this WI attribute. So if they actually just read it, they will know exactly what they need to do. If you move down to the next part, this is our major. This is kinesiology. We require 2.5 in the major. That's the GPA, so that's how you can link these two. So right now, 2.56, that's why it's checked off, because he's a 2.5. In theory, they could drop this below and then get it back up by the time they graduate. But it's something you might want to, hey, you're at a 2.49, you need to get that at 2.5 if you're going to set to graduate.
Isn't that their overall GPA up there though?
What?
Isn't that their overall GPA up there?
No, this is just, this GPA
Okay,
only.
so that strip's gonna have a separate one?
Yep.
Okay.
Again, same thing with applied, so this is looking at all credits that they have taken, registered for, and are currently enrolled in. So this is a really interesting example. You have writing and speaking intensive within the major, so they are currently taking 375, which is their WI, that's great. You can see under the major requirements, here's basically what we call the old core. They're indented a little bit. You can see the courses they've completed, what they're registered for, what they still need. Interesting here though, we say semester hours here. On the previous slide it said classes. So just be aware that the language may change. But again, it's written right out. They need 3 semester hours of 353. If you come down here into activities, it says 1 class. Okay? And that's done on purpose. So a student can't take, and we've had examples, students try to transfer in a 4-credit activity course and get credit for all their activity. It's, I don't care if you take 4 credits of it, it's 1 class. They have to take 3. Does that make sense? We get this a lot with ROTC, because ROTC tries to transfer like 10 credits of ROTC and have all their activity completed. No, it only counts as 1 class, even though it's 10 credits. That's the way the system is reading it. Question? If I think I hand up, yeah.
I wanted to know if, right now, they have the 4 credits beyond the 265 for activity.
Yep.
And do they have somewhere written anywhere that they cannot repeat the same activity for those 4 credits?
The software won't let them because none of our activity courses are allowed to be repeated for credit.
But we know that.
No, the software knows that too. The software will now let them.
Software knows
Yes.
that. The students don't know.
The one thing the software can't catch right now is if you establish a level of competence in a class going back down. The software can't read that quite yet. So if you take intermediate basketball in the fall, the software won't stop you from taking beginning basketball in the spring. That's the only thing it can't do. We're trying to figure out a way to have that. But You may still see this. Most of our students will probably satisfy conditioning and weight training with 265. You may see a couple old schoolers who are 120, 130. You may see a couple, and we just had one coming back from 2012. They're way back in ESS world. But other than that,
So what are they have to take 265?
yeah, we usually just have them take 265, and then the 120. Like in this case,
That would count as our activity.
this would roll down to activity section. If you see this, a lot of our students have aquatics, then 3 activity courses. That's fine. They can now just take 4 activity courses, and they have to do an appeal to have that 4th activity course count as an aquatics. They actually took swimming. You might also see some students who have an updated one that looks like this. There is no aquatics. It just says 4 classes in kinesiology with physical activity. So you may see one or the other.
So
Yep.
is it right they can't appeal until they've actually registered the grade?
Yeah, you can appeal as soon as you have a grade in one activity course. What we don't wanna happen is an activity course in progress be appealed and move up, and then they sprain their ankle and fail that course, cause it will stay as an applied.
But it doesn't matter which one they
No.
apply to that.
So questions on how to manipulate and read our major. All right. The last section on degree works, related area. So these GPAs are also factored into your major GPA. You have a related area. It tells you exactly what you needed to get. If they read, they're fine. Our kinesiology electives, they have their 6 hours, so they're fine there. They just have to complete them successfully. Additional electives, they've taken 6, it says 3 semester hours from this list of courses. The motion that we approved in the fall has not kicked in yet, so that's why we're still with 6 and 9 if you add it all up. Now, if this student does not achieve a C in one of these 2 courses, this obviously would then become insufficient. He does not have it completed yet. All right? Yeah, Sandy?
Go ahead.
I was going to say, out of this list, we don't sort of promote it, but if a student is taking a course that you feel would fit in this related area, they can always appeal to have these credits apply here. Happens a lot for our transfer students. They have a health course or a kinesiology course that's coming in as kin 000, and they can apply, and we can go to committee and we can apply it in this area. So if you have transfers with a lot of sort of HHS style courses coming in as 000, they can appeal to see if it counts as an elective.
So that can't be just anything, because I got confused on someone that you guys were accepting an elective, or they were taking a kin course and it was counting as an elective. So
Right.
that just confused me. So it can't be just any.
No, most of these are HHS related or courses that they will need for graduate school, like biochemistry or physics. That's kind of what we agreed upon when we developed this list. But I don't think it's a hard and fast list.
So it's something around HHS
Yes.
more broadly.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they could fill that with kin.
Yes.
We don't have that many, but you know.
The ones that we see mostly are transfers.
Right.
We have like athletic training students who come in and they have like a therapeutic modalities course that doesn't fit in our undergrad program, but it's certainly kinesiology related. It comes in as kin 000. They can appeal and we can apply it there, or we can apply it here if they haven't fulfilled their kinesiology electives. So
The only weird thing, the committee has approved this once. A student was taking principles of business finance because they wanna own their own gym. They were sitting for CSCS certification, they're gonna be a personal trainer. So if they explain it in a way that makes sense for the committee to approve, we can sub that in.
or the committee can.
The committee can
Right.
sub it, well, I'll sub it in.
The last part is, this is a really nice example because it has all 3. So you have some courses that just come in as electives. They don't fit in any of the above sections. They obviously were on probation because they took Reclaim, Regain, Recover. That's a mandatory course if you're on probation. So yay, we're gonna bring it back. And they also have 265. Why is 265 here? They got a C-. So they got credit for it because by university standards they passed it. But by our standards, it didn't fit our C rule, so it comes down here into the electives area. Yeah,
So we cannot make them repeat that because they passed the course, right?
No.
yeah, we can make them repeat it.
we can.
Yes,
But they can't
They
count
don't
as
get
elective somewhere
financial
else.
support.
they don't get financial support for it.
But when they repeat it, does that still count as one of the electives they have to take?
No,
Okay.
no. No, actually, you can take that back. I believe he did repeat it. No, see, he hasn't taken it, so he's not repeated it yet. So that's why it's sitting there. When he repeats the course, that 260, he'll do a grade replacement. That'll get wiped out of the electives, and it'll only be showing up here. Other things you can obviously see, insufficiency. This is a very good table when you want to actually advise a student about whether kinesiology is right for them. We have seen students with up to 20 insufficiencies, and they're hanging on to the major for whatever reason, I have no idea. But D, F, D plus, F might be a good time to have a conversation. Like, man, what do you want to do? I want to be a physical therapist. Okay. Okay, you're 2.16, you're not there. Then, of course, if you see a WX, that means they withdrew from the course after the first week of classes, but before the late drop deadline, which is
March 11th.
March 11th.
For this semester.
if they do it later, that would become a WF, and that actually counts. But so the WXs have not affected their GPA. So they're probably going to want to do a grade placement for their biomechanics, their intro course, and some other ones. And then you have what they're in progress, either spring and or summer. All right? Questions? Miss
Yeah,
anything?
I have a question.
Yeah, Alan.
So, I agree with you that this person probably needs some advising about whether this is the right thing. Is there gonna be, or has this been ever discussed in the undergraduate committee, that if there was a certain number of these, that they reach a threshold, they should maybe be advised not to stay in the major?
We have not discussed that we have not tried to find an objective number to say if you hit 5 insufficiencies, but it's something we could talk about.
I mean, you got 2 Fs there, you got 2 Ds, and you still have 4 more courses that they probably have to.
Yep, and if you look, actually come all the way back up, their kinesiology GPA is a 2.56. Yeah.
That makes sense. Often a student will have a GPA so low that when you eyeball it, you know that mathematically
Yeah.
they're not gonna make it.
Yeah.
Is there a quick and easy way to actually show them that?
Yep, and I'll get to that in a second. Thank you for jumping ahead.
You're welcome.
All the advising forms, you guys should all have copies of them. The course selection form is the one that's partially filled out.
Sorry, Spartan.
This one, this is course selection form. This is what they will be completing at all the advising. This is the carbon form, correct?
Yes.
Yes, this will be the carbon form. Your course overload form looks like this, and we will have the criteria for what is allowed by course overloads. It's if they go 19 to 22, and then 23, 24. 25. They have different criteria. So 19 to 22, 23 to 25, they have criteria. I will send that electronically to you. It makes it very easy to see whether or not they're eligible. And then the advising cheat sheet.
There's 2.
Your advising cheat sheets. Good? Very good. All right, we're going to go for the course selection form. Yeah, Alan.
This is great, but, and when I advise them, I also ask them to have you check to see if there are any conflicts with any of these classes.
Mhm.
If they don't have the times here, and therefore they may be thinking they're gonna take this, but in actuality it can't.
That's why we have them come prepared with CRNs, etc.
Yeah, but they fill it out, but don't check for time. They should, again, they're students, they should do a lot of things.
I'll just point out, any kin course does not have an overlap. They can take any kin course. It's the Bio 111, the anatomies that are gonna have overlaps.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry. at this point, none of these are conflict with each other.
So
It's a
Kin
core
220
question.
has multiple sections, Kin 250 has multiple sections.
265.
The only things that will overlap are labs like Kin 265 lab, Kin 291 lab, Kin 292 lab, Kin 375 lab. All of the lecture courses, 330, 370, 388, 376, 386, none of them are offered at the same day, same time.
Great. Thank you.
Yep.
So on the form, everything that's highlighted here, we want the student to complete prior to ADA, or while when they're at the ADA table before they come and see you. If you feel that this part is not completed satisfactorily, send them away. What we don't want to have is a student coming in here with a blank course selection form and saying, advise me, I don't know what to take. That's what we're trying to avoid. Do a little legwork, student. Take a little empowerment for your own schedule. Now, they may come here and have a couple of these filled in, and they may have some question marks. I think I want to take this, I don't know. We'll leave that to your judgment, whether or not you feel that they should be sent back. But we don't want the, I don't know what I'm doing, and they just drop their form on your lap and say, fix it for me. No, go away. Figure it out. That's also why we have Jenny, because she helps prevent them from even getting to the advising table. This section right here, you need to somehow acknowledge that you went over it, discussed it, something with the student. So if they don't have to apply to the major, they've already done it, just scratch it out. But did you talk about applying to graduate? Yeah, I want to graduate spring 19. Okay, just write it here. What's happening is the students are coming back saying, I was misadvised. And if this is completed, we can say, you guys talked about all of these things. Like, we went over it. We just had a situation with a student who's appealing because they say they were misadvised because they didn't know about the 36 credit hour rule. And unfortunately, we pulled out their advising sheet and this whole thing was left blank. So I'm like, yeah, I really don't know if they were told about that. So just, it takes, if you want to use this as sort of your template as you're going through their degree works and making sure that you take, and if you don't have to deal with it, scratch it out. That's fine. At least I have some sort of acknowledgement that it was at least talked about, discussed, or you saw it there. Does that sort of make sense? Print your name legibly. Good God, people. Your handwriting is atrocious. Just saying, it's really bad. And I'm looking at Alan, because his is awful. And then you sign it, okay? But we need to know who they saw that day.
Copying yours.
I know mine's bad. So let's put an A and a T. But just print your name so we know who they saw in case we have questions. We have to go back, okay? Complete that, print legibly, sign, have the student work through this on their own. Does that make sense? It's actually a pretty simplistic form.
What is, in the future advising notes, what is HFP?
All right, so future advising notes, this is for your open comment, because if you write it on their degree works, we keep their degree works, they don't have it. So don't write comments on degree works, use this space here to write comments, because they get a copy of this, right? So don't write on their degree works. Bill loves to write on degree works, because I see him in the files, and I'm like, the student doesn't have this anymore.
I'm going to continue.
I'm like, oh.
It makes me feel good.
Like,
I
stop
don't care
it.
what you think.
Use the space.
So will you go through what those mean?
Oh, all right. High impact practices. It's the big buzz phrase right now. So high impact practice, that could be the internship, study abroad, externships, community service, service learning, honors, anything like that. Okay, those are all considered high impact practices. What are they doing besides just going to school? Oh, that sounded horrible. Ugh. Are they interested in graduate school? Good. Go see our graduate tables next door or next to you. Do you have all the prereqs they may need for graduate school or certifications? Maybe they want to sit for CSCS. Have you taken the correct XFIS courses? If not, 468 is being offered. You want to take that. Again, that kind of runs into any sort of certifications and then other options. So basically, it's a way to get them set up beyond just registering for classes. Have you fought next semester, 2 semesters, and beyond UNCG? That sort of makes sense. And then any other notes you want to put in there, so you do not write on degree works.
writing on degree. Get that degree ahead.
And for the record, they're great comments. They're
Of course
great
they're
comments.
Copy.
And they sit very nicely in the file cabinet. Common things that we see, the credit hours is still 122, we're not 120 yet. 36 at the 300 level. You may have to actually manually add them up and make sure they get there. It happens. If they come in with an AA or an AS, Associate's Degree of Arts, Associate's Degree of Science, their general education will be waived. Okay, they don't have it, so they're just going to be in kinesiology and the related areas. So keep that in mind. So if they're struggling to find classes because they don't need any general education, that's when good advising comes in. Maybe they need to pick up a minor, or maybe they only take 12, 13 credits, etc. But just be aware of that. GLGN and your WISI courses, these are your marker courses. They tend to get pushed around, etc. So just keep that in mind when you're advising them. Our WI course is 375. Our SI courses are 105 and 341. Yeah, our within major SI courses are from Communication Studies. They let you do that, so. Yeah, Tom.
Didn't we have 457, those courses as speaking intensive?
We did not renew those for speaking intensive. I don't think we did. 457.
Just the methods class, I think,
I don't think we redid it because I don't think we were offering it, so I don't think we redid the cert on it, the recertification on it.
Is the WI and SI still on the student teaching? Is it, that's where it's
461.
changed to?
Yeah, 461.
Yes, that's right.
Is that where?
Yeah. This isn't in the catalog yet, but we are advising students do not take more than 2 activity courses a semester. We have one student right now who's taking 4. She got injured. Greg has a very strict attendance policy. She just lost all 4 of her activity courses, and he withdrew her from all 40 activity courses. Now she drops below full-time student status. It messes up her SAS factor, academic progress, etc. Advise them, do not take more than 2 a semester. Right now the system will let them. We're advising them, don't do it. I'm going to take 4 activity courses my last semester, and then you get hurt. And now you really put yourself in a bad position. And we're only offering 2 activity courses in the summer, I think. So, major GPA, 2.5, cumulative GPA, 2.0. Questions on any other common issues that we may have missed? All right, I'm going to show you one example. I think that's. Oh, Bill, here's your point. GPA calculator.
Can't see.
Right there, follow the arrow. Really, people don't even know that these are all tabs. GPA calculator, I'm going to pull it up when we do this student. Really great way. It does cumulative GPA, grade replacement, and if you need to hit a certain GPA, what you need to get. So it's a really good resource. And we're going to talk about these 2 check boxes. I'll show you how we can utilize those, and again with the applied hours. Class history, if you click the class history, use the Control F function to search for courses. So if you're afraid that they're taking KIN 375 4 times, just Control F 375 and you can just easily use that to find how many times you took a course. Grade replacements are not automatically done. They have to fill out a form and go to the registrar's office to have it applied. If they take a course 2 times and they don't fill out the form, the system averages the grades. It doesn't replace them. So they have to actually go and do the form. And just tell the students about a lot of resources. Students First, Speaking Center, Writing Center, SSS, SIP, all those resources, let them know that they're out there. But Student Success Center and Students First have some really awesome resources that will take a lot of stuff off your plate and helping them. Bill.
Where it says use GPA calculator, do you mean you only need to plug in the semester hour?
I'm going to show you a live example.
Oh, I thought it said it right there under.
I'm going to show you exactly what all that means. He's just jumping on the. I'm just going to do it.
With the grade replacement?
Yeah,
What?
what about grade replacement? I mean, do they have it outside of, they still have to request that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
With the grader replacement, like you said, that they'll average the grades if they don't fill it out.
Mhm.
What's the time limit on that, and if they do
There is no
average-
time limit. We've had students sitting there with 2 grades for a couple of years, like just, and they didn't realize it. They never realized that they had to go and do it. And the second they did, their whole GPA just flip-flopped on them.
You do have to do it before you graduate.
Yes.
Cause that's how your transcript that's sent out, after you graduate is set in stone.
So in the meantime, it's averaged then?
Yeah.
So, can you share this with us?
Yep.
Yep.
And then, can you also, what you just mentioned, Aaron, was a whole list of resources?
Yep.
Can we add one slide?
With all the resources?
Yeah, that way we can have it pulled up on our laptop,
Yep.
and we can just give it to the students, or everyone, so they can go check those things out.
All right. So this is the same one that I had screenshots of. I want you guys keep an, watch this. So right now, this is 94 hours. Everyone see that? So that is including courses they've taken, courses they're registered for, and courses they are currently enrolled in. You have these 2 tabs right here. Watch what happens to the number. So if we say, you know what, I don't care about courses he's currently taking, so spring 19. So I'm gonna unclick that. The default is it's clicked, so I'm gonna unclick it, I'm gonna process new. Drops down to 78. Okay, so he's currently enrolled in 16 credits. If I take pre-registered courses, so this would be things that he's gonna take in the summer, because he's not currently in summer yet, but he's registered for summer. Get rid of that, process new. Down to 74, so he's taking 4 credits over the summer. That should have been an ooh or an ah moment. I'm disappointed in my faculty. Look at this right here though, this is the big one that we see.
Take 10, well, take 10.
Don't ever say that. He needs 36 hours at the 300 level. Right now, taking away everything, he needs 33 more semester hours at the 300 level. If we add these back in process, 13. So he's taking 20 credits at the 300 plus level. So that's why this number and this applied is a really important thing. This number also is not what they are using to calculate their GPA. You have to take both these off because their GPA only takes into account credits that they have grades for. So his GPA is only factoring in 74 credit hours. His class status as a junior is only factoring in 74. So feel free to unclick these tabs if you really want to get how much credits they've actually earned. Does that sort of make sense? Did you guys even know those checkboxes were up there? Well, they're there. And if you click class history, it tells you the class they took. They don't give you a semester GPA like a transcript does. I don't like that. But it does tell you what they've taken. If I do Control F and I do biology, we can now just scroll through and see how many times they took biology courses.
Does it tell you what the grades are though?
Yep, right here.
They have, no, the grades they have to get.
No.
That's
No.
the GPA calc.
That's the GPA calculator. So if you click on GPA calculator, which is up here, you're going to see they're going to require their cumulative GPA and the GPA hours. This is their earned hours. So this would be that 74 number, not the 98 number, because that's all they earned. And from here, Bill, we can do their semester GPA and what it's going to do to their cumulative GPA. We can raise their cumulative GPA, what they need to do. We can do a grade replacement calculator.
So they can do this themselves?
They can do it
Simple enough.
themselves.
That was really the bottom line of my question.
Yes.
They do it, we have to help them do this.
Well, they might not know that calculator is there either, so you can actually sit there and walk it through them, or you can say, hey, do the calculator on your own time. Next. I got a point from Paul, so that means that's a good idea. But the only thing this doesn't do, which may impact us, is it's always looking at cumulative GPA, not our major GPA. So that's going to be the one issue. If you're trying to see, can they get to the 2.5 major GPA, this calculator is not going to be effective for that.
So
Bill.
maybe they should use their own calculator.
I agree. Bill?
Now, back to my original question, you have someone who has such a low GPA that when you use that, you find out that they are never going to be able to attain mathematically what they need to be able to graduate. Should we we advise them out of the program right then and there?
I think so.
Because why, if they stay in the program, they're going nowhere, right?
I agree.
Exactly.
Better SCH withdrawal.
The problem, I agree, and that's gonna be your decision as an advisor, and having seen enough students come through the program, are we setting them up for success, we keep them in here and keep dragging them along?
I mean, I'd
That's
say
good to
it's
your call.
unethical to let them, I mean, you can invite, they can do whatever they want,
Right.
more or less, but it's unethical to say, stay here, because you'll never get out of.
Do we have any idea, I know what it used to be, but things have changed so much, do we have any idea of which programs in the university they may be able to slip in?
They don't have they don't have a landing spot anymore, we used to be able to put them to public health and CTR, but.
And rec.
In rec, but that they bumped all their stuff up too. Honestly, the best, I don't wanna say it, we could do BIPS.
What's that?
BIPS.
What is
BIPS is
You can't just keep saying it.
Bachelor of Interprofessional Studies.
Oh,
It's
God.
a make your own major.
Oh, no.
What, sorry, what is that? Could you
it's-
explain?
fake?
I don't even know,
Who advises them?
So
they have a BIPS advisor.
It's a
you
nightmare.
transfer into an online program and you say, I would like to focus in kinesiology, they'll take a D+ in any kin course and make it count for their program. But you make your own and you take a lot of Bachelor of Integrated Professional Studies coursework.
But there are lots of good things in it, so
Yes.
everybody shouldn't dismiss
Yeah.
it that way.
Okay.
There are some actual.
So there are
quality
people on
courses.
campus who advise the student?
Yes.
They're in the Division of Online Learning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most of the people that are in it actually are returning students, and they have some real specific things that they're looking at that will support them in
Or
their
they're
world.
honor students and they wanna make their own programs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it used to be a bureaucratic nightmare. It's
Right,
still
so
is.
it's
I mean, just
improved.
awful,
And it's
man.
cold again?
BIPS, Bachelor of Integrated
Do they
Professional
have,
Studies.
do they have any GPA requirements for that?
What? It's right here.
No, no, like ours is a 2.5, what is there?
I think it's a 2. I think they just do university standards now. I don't.
That's why they can get by with it.
Yeah, BIPS as Pam has said, BIPS was originally designed for high achieving students who might want a specialty, or I only have a couple credits left, I'm coming back to university, my program's no longer what it used to be, what can I do with it? That's what it's really designed for. It's not a dumping ground for our students. The other one is BLS, the Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Studies. I've moved some students over there, and again, they're probably gonna be delayed 1 or 2 semesters, but they get a degree.
Can you also add that to the slide?
Bips and
Yeah,
bills.
for struggling students,
Yeah.
look at BIPS and. what is
Bips
it?
and bills.
Bips and bills.
Bips and
The- Dips and doors?
All the Bs.
I think it's fails.
By the way, one thing I forgot to mention,
ILS.
Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Studies, really good for courses that need a WI or an SI. They have a lot of 8-week mid-semester WI and SI online courses. Just so you know, so if you actually go to the course schedule, which I like to use off Genie, the class schedule here, and we're just gonna do spring because they have more options. You actually can search for BLS, and you're gonna hopefully, of course, it may not work, but you're gonna see a lot of online sections because all these are online. And if you click on them, a lot of them are WI, SI, etc. If you really want to refine the search, I can actually add a WI marker to it. Search for it. You have a lot of WIs. Online BLS programs. And they still have a lot of seats in
SI
them.
on it?
What?
Also has an SI on it or no?
Some of them do, yeah.
How do you do an online with an SI?
You
Oh.
record yourself.
Sometimes there's recordings, sometimes
Yeah.
there's actual meetings.
By the way, if you haven't used the advanced search tool on the course schedule, I highly recommend you use it. You can actually search by yourself. You can do instructor, you can do credits, you can do keywords, you can do attributes, you can do a lot of really cool things with the advanced search. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out. This tool works really well for students who work or are commuting. We get a lot of them. I can only come in Monday and Tuesday because I live in Raleigh. It's a really good way to try to find them either online courses or courses that only meet on certain days. So use the advanced search option on the course schedule. I think you can do a lot of really cool, really purposeful advising.
You're gonna have computers set up for us over there?
No, the laptops that Jane Harris used to have didn't really work. What?
We have new ones.
Oh, you got it.
We could look into it. We'll see if,
We'll talk to Michelle.
we'll talk to Michelle.
Yeah.
Any open questions, any general questions? I know it's getting near 1:30. I wanted to be done by 1:30. Bill?
This sheet that you handed out, how to apply into the program.
Yeah.
220 shouldn't be on there?
No, 220 is not needed to get into our program. That's right. Yeah. You don't need it to move from pre-kinesiology to kinesiology.
Ooh, I thought you did.
And that's why we have brown bags.
It used to be a major requirement. It has not been since I started. I took it out.
You could have told us.
She was getting sick of writing 220, so she's like, cut it. I'm done with it. Tom?
Eric,
Yeah.
you probably may have informed us on this, but you mentioned that some of us have advisees that we didn't know we had.
Yeah.
Is there a way to get that list?
Yeah, right here. If we go back to Jeannie, and you log in, so I'll go back to my secure area. Go to faculty advisors, right here. And there's your advisee listing right there.
Oh, okay.
And if you look, you can get all your advisees listed. I don't even know how many I have. Probably 10.
60.
Okay. That's good.
And then it also, if you go through degree.
And you can look at, yeah, I have a lot of advisors.
And then,
And then you can click on their degree works automatically. So there you go.
Aaron, is that, and the purpose of that is for them to meet with us on and off, outside of class?
They may or they may not, but at least it gives them a point of contact with a faculty member in the department. So at least they know, hey, I can reach out to at least this person. As opposed to just defaulting to Emily, who gets a ton of emails that she cannot answer, or just coming to me saying, I need to be advised. I'm like, okay. I deal with the transfer students, I deal with the issued students, etc., in my own advisees. So
Okay.
I have enough on that plate. Alan?
So I really think this has been great, thank you.
Oh, appreciate it.
I don't think it's been so great, by the way, but go ahead.
Write a note on the degree works about that. One thing
He's
that you
phasing out,
need to
right?
keep in mind is, and I think you said this, but there's a tuition surcharge for them going over a
Yeah.
certain number of credits.
Mm-hmm.
And or repeating those classes, they get, it stays there.
Yep.
And therefore, we just have to alert them.
Right.
Because they are not aware.
Tuition surcharge is 140. Summer courses don't count. So I sometimes encourage them, look, if you want to take a lot of courses, take them over to summer, because you can take like 12 hours. Yeah, and some, I know summer doesn't count.
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't, I don't care if it makes sense, I'm just telling you what the rules are. So sometimes summer's a good chance to take general education courses, because you take like 3, 6, 9 general education courses, they don't count in your tuition surcharge. Also very important for second degree seeking students, because those courses do count. So you can get to 140 really quickly.
So repeated courses count within that
Yep.
total.
Yeah. If you ever have a question, they actually have a really nice FAQ. If you just Google tuition surcharge UNCG, really nice FAQ of what goes